Hey YouTube, this is Angie here at Abundant Acres Homestead, and today I'm just going to give you a tour of probably the last bit of the 2020 garden that we're going to have. And it ain't looking pretty. So I hurt my knee and I haven't been in the garden as much as like I usually am because of the injury. So the weeds have got the best of me for sure this year. But as far as production goes, it's been a great year. We were able to completely fill our pantries and we had some to give away. Boo had a sale, so she sold some produce. So it's been a good garden year as far as like production goes. And you can see we still have some producing, which is actually kind of shocking because we had 2 frosts already and they were pretty decent frosts. So I was completely expecting. The first day I was like, maybe not. But by the second frost, I totally expected to come out and see everything in the garden all wilted up, but it didn't. We did get a few frost injuries as far as like the peppers and stuff goes. But again, we had so many peppers this year that even at a loss, we were still pretty happy. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys around, and you guys are going to get to see just how bad of a mess the garden is ending on. And it's kind of ugly. So here is the right side of the garden. Tomatoes. But the main thing that you're going to see is the marigolds. And this stuff here is just will not go away. Some people call it pennywort. Ugh. Not looking the best. But still not looking too bad. Well, okay, these are looking pretty bad. But some of the tomatoes really aren't looking that bad for the end of the year. Behind the tomatoes on the right side, this was the Hygiculture Bed that we put in a couple years ago. It is looking pretty sad. But we've got mainly peppers growing on that. And behind it is just a big old ruby weed patch. I mean, we lost. The weeds won, definitely, for sure. And it's thistle, so it's not fun to be pulling out. This is the front right side. Again, we had all peppers go all across here, but a lot of them didn't do well. So we did try to put some cabbage in. I did get some cabbage. Obviously it's not looking wonderful. The bugs did get it. This was the lemon boy tomato, and I was really happy with how that turned out. Another couple cabbages that didn't fare so well. This is one of my favorite parts of the garden, and it's kind of like our entrance. I grew the yard-long green beans. I'm just letting them go to seed now. But yeah, it's just been a fun entrance to have them all hanging over. Now, I know a lot of people had good success with these. These are the Dollar Tree towers, and I did not. Both of my towers dried out really bad. But I'm willing to give them another chance because we did have a pretty bad drought this year. So anyway, over here is more peppers, different varieties of peppers. There is the horseradish. It's died back, but you can see all kinds of weeds got into that one. But not as bad as they got into this one. I mean, obviously the horseradish is fine because it's a root anyway. So the horseradish is fine, but it just looks pretty ugly. Here's the middle trellis. I put some beans on it. Those did actually pretty good. And then this is Boo's garden. She did a salsa garden. Hers actually did great and probably looks the best out of everything. So, yeah. And here is the front left side of the garden. Again, we did peppers all the way across. These peppers actually did better than those peppers over there. So, all of the peppers stayed with the exception of this one here at the end, which we planted a cabbage, and again the bugs got into that one too, so it is what it is. And this is the far left side. I have 3 long trellises full of different varieties of tomatoes. I'm happy with how it turned out. We got a lot of production out of it, but I do realize I made some mistakes because it seems like they were far enough apart. I would say they're probably close to 3 foot apart, but by the time the tomatoes got up and started bushing out and everything. And I mean, granted, I probably could have done a better job of pruning, but anyways, these alleys got pretty tight. So yeah, lesson learned, spread them apart a little bit further and give yourself more room to walk down through there. But as far as production goes, I mean, I couldn't have asked for anything better. Again, it was a great producing garden this year, so I'm very happy with the production. But there's still mistakes that I made, which is one of the things that I think is fun part of gardening, is you're always learning. There's always something to learn. And also over here on the left side was our secret seed, which ended up being what I thought it was. We got some acorn squash. Okay. And this is the left side in the back. We also have a Hygiculture bed here. This one actually looks better than the other one. But we did more peppers here. They did really well. And I threw some extra tomatoes behind it in this open section. Look, it looks like I have a tomato tree. There's a tree, but the tomato decided that it was going to grab hold of the tree, and it started climbing up the apple tree. So I ended up with a tomato tree this year. That was kind of fun. But there was more peppers planted here. There's actually some strawberries in there. And more peppers. And then we got some really hot peppers. I'm not even sure what kind these are. So if you guys have an idea what these are, leave it in the comment section, because I honestly don't have a clue. But they are hot. Okay, and then the very back of the garden, this is where our big crops were. We actually had corn all the way back there. The corn grew good, but yet again, we had a windstorm come through and it took out all of our corn. So we thought it was just a freak accident last year, but now 2 years, corn's blown down. Okay, lesson learned. Don't put the corn down there. And Kenny had a pumpkin patch here that did really well. We actually got quite a few of those that we have stored up in our pantry, so yay there. And also here in the back, we planted green beans. These have done really well. We got these ones here from Pine Tree. They have done wonderfully. That's pretty much what they've all come out looking like. And good flavor. I would definitely will be growing these again next year. I ended up with plenty of green beans in our pantry, so now I'm just letting these go so that I have seeds for next year. So you can see our garden ended up with a lot of weeds this year, and we did make some mistakes, which is fine because not all gardens need to be perfect. This year, we didn't have a perfect garden, but you know what? It still produced some food. I did not plant a fall garden for 2022 because, like I said, I knew that I was going to be making a lot of changes for next year. So honestly, once this is done and we start tearing it out, I'm going to go ahead and start setting up for next year. And I wouldn't be able to do that if I had planted a fall garden. So sadly, I'm sure this is probably the last tour and the last little bit of the 2022 garden. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Be safe and God bless.